Right, hi, this is a show me, tell me questions for inside the Peugeot 208. The under the bonnet ones are on a different video. So basically first we'll go over the show me, tell me questions that they ask you while you're driving. You'll get asked two, one when you're stationary, one while you're driving. And the one while you're driving is always a show me because they want to see you doing it while you're driving. Basically see that you can multitask a little bit more than you already have to. So the first one is horn, which is there. You would just press that. They'd ask you to press the horn. And they'll usually do that somewhere where you're not going to interfere with other drivers. So that's that one, just there. The window, they'll just ask you to open a window. So if you're opening the one next to you, which is the one you probably want to, it'll be the button that's nearest that window, the one with the A on it. And you just press it down for down, up for up. Okay, so that's that. The demisters. Now the demister controls for the front windscreen, they'll just say, could you please show me how you would demist the front windscreen? It's already on it at the moment, so if it's already on there, just take it off, put it back on. If it isn't already on there and it's around here somewhere, just turn it all the way around there and then turn it back again. That's the front. Don't worry about these two, not while you're driving. In my experience, it's been fine, you know, that they see that you do that one. If they ask you to demist the rear windscreen, it's just that button. So simple enough. To clean the windscreens, so they'll either ask you to clean the front windscreen or the back or the rear. So you've got two sticks either side of the steering wheel. This right one has all the windscreen wipers and things like that on it. The left one has all the lights on it. So in order to clean the front windscreen, you'd push it towards you. There you go, just hold it for a couple of seconds and it'll give the windscreen a good clean, and then it'll go off on its own. You don't have to do anything else. To clean the rear windscreen, it's off at the moment. You would click it to turn the windscreen wipers on, but then you need to do an extra twist to actually clean the windscreen at the back. And then the cleaning will go off on its own, but if you leave that like that, then the windscreen wipers will keep going on, which you're not going to want unless it's raining, because it might put you off. So you just need to click it back to the 0 again. Okay, so towards you for the front, a click and a twist for the back, and then click it off again. Okay. The lights, as we said, are on the left. They will ask you to turn the dip beam headlights on. So again, it's similar to the cleaning the rear windscreen. You've got a twisty thing on the end. So the lights are off at the moment. That's, oh, I'm only meant to do one. That's it. That's your side lights, and you can see that on the dashboard. That's your dip beam headlights, and you can see that they're on the dashboard. So it's 2 clicks up, and then to turn them off, just 2 clicks back. And that's that. That's all the ones they'll ask while you're driving. But for my pupils and any other person who's watching this, who's with another instructor, your instructor should be going through those with you anyway on your lessons. So the other questions, the ones they'll ask while you're stationary, will either be a show me or a tell me. For today, obviously, I'll be saying, you know, tell me all the time, because I'm not going to get out of the car and walk around it in the rain. So how would you know that your power assisted steering is working? When the engine's off, the steering wheel should be stiff. When you turn the engine on, the steering wheel will loosen up. That's how you know it's working. You've got a problem with it if it doesn't loosen up. The brake lights, so they'll say, tell me how you would check that your brake lights are working. You would just stick your foot on the brake pedal and then look in your rear view mirror, and you can see there now, you can see red on my fence. I'll take it off, they're gone. So you'd use a reflection like that, so I can see my brake lights nice, they're both working nicely there. Or you'd get someone else to go out and have a look for you if you can't use a reflection. How would you check that your brakes are working before starting a journey? You would move off and stop, move off and stop. So turn the engine on, move off a bit, press the brake, move off a bit, press the brake. The brake should feel firm, not spongy, and the car shouldn't pull to one side. So how would you check that your headlights and tail lights are working? Again, just like the show me tell me on the move, you would turn your headlights on and you would just go outside of the car, walk around it and have a look and just make sure that they're all working. Indicators, you would press the hazard button and you would get out of the car, walk around it and have a look and just make sure all the indicators are working correctly. Tyre pressure. So how would you check your tyre pressure, and where would you find the information for the recommended tyre pressure for this car? You should check your tyre pressure with a tyre pressure gauge, and you will find the information for it in the manual, or which is usually in the glove compartment, or mine's there, I think. Or in the passenger door, on the inside of the passenger door. Sometimes it might be on the driver's side. I think I've had a car where it's been on the driver's side before, but most of the time it's in the passenger side, but you'll find it in the manual anyway. How would you check your parking brake for excessive wear? So parking brake is generally what we would call the handbrake. It's very, very important, if they ask you to show them this, that you put your foot on the foot brake before you put the handbrake down. Or if they ask you to tell them, that you tell them you would put the foot brake on first to secure the car before putting the handbrake down. So you put your foot on the foot brake, which I'm going to do because I'm going to show you. Foot on the foot brake to secure the car so I don't go rolling back into my fence. Parking brake all the way down, and then button in and bring it up as far as you can, and then release the button. And it shouldn't come all the way to the end of its run, and it should be nice and firm. It shouldn't be all loose. And that's that, basically. The head restraint. So, excuse my crappy hair. The head restraint, I usually tell people just to make sure that it's in line with the top of your head, or as close to it as you can get. Some people like to use in line with your eyes or the top of your ears, about halfway up the head restraint, or the back of your head where the rigid part is. Now, a lot of my pupils get kind of confused with those. They like the in line with the top of your head or as close to it as you can get, because that's fairly simple. And I've never had any problems with anybody on the test saying that, so that's fine. So the tread depth on the tyres. So how would you check your tread depth? What is the legal limit? And how would you know that your tyres are safe for use on the road? The legal limit is 1.6 millimetres. There's a tiny little bump inside the tread, the grooves on the tyre, which is 1.6 millimetres high. Once your tread starts to get in line with that bump, you can look it up on the internet, so you can see the pictures and stuff. Once your tread starts to get in line with that bump, that's when you know it's getting towards the 1.6 millimetres and you need to get them changed, really. 1.6 millimetres is the legal limit. You shouldn't really get them down to that far if you can help it. But that's legally where you're allowed. So the answer to that question would be the tread depth should be 1.6 millimetres at least. Legally, that's the limit. 1.6 millimetres around the entire circumference on the centre 3/4 of the tyre. You would test it with a tread depth gauge, and there should be no cuts or bulges on the tyre. So that's basically the answer to that. That's all they're looking for on that one. 1.6 millimetres around the entire circumference on the centre 3/4 of the tyre, and there should be no cuts and bulges. You test the tread depth with a tread depth gauge. So how would you know if there's a problem with your anti-lock braking system? If I take that off, if I put this back on again, you see all the lights come up on the dashboard, and you've got the ABS one there. It should go off. There you go. If you turn your engine on, the ABS light will come up on the dashboard, but after a few seconds, it will go off. That's fine. If it stays on the dashboard, you know you've got a problem with your ABS. So main beam, how would you know if main beam's on while you're in the car? Again, you go to the light stick. If I put it towards me, you'll see a blue light come up on the dashboard. That's how I know I've got main beam on when I'm in the car. So if you accidentally, you know, put main beam on and you're driving around and you see that blue light on there, you know you've got it on and you'll need to turn it off, unless of course you've got it on for a reason. So basically the answer to that one's you'd see the little blue light come up on the dashboard. And the fog lights. So the last one, I know it's a lengthy video, thanks for bearing with me. The fog lights. So that's how you turn the fog lights on, that's how you turn them off. You need the headlights on first though, in this car anyway. So you put the dip beam headlights on, twist that, and you see the fog light come on, turn it off, and the fog light's gone off. So they will say, show me how you would turn the fog lights on and when would you use them. So show me, you just do that, and then you'd say I would use them when visibility is less than 100 metres. And you could just turn the whole thing off, and that turns them off. And that's that. So any questions, feel free to let me know and I'll answer them as best I can.